After a 728 point drop on Monday, you think that the Nasdaq would get something back today, but nope. More selling as money continues to come out of this market. Yesterday, the Nasdaq made a new low of 17,291. Today, another new low, 17,238. It's about a 15% correction from the high on December 16th at 20,204, the peak to trough here today at 17,238. So a 15% correction. You could see it was correcting via time, just kind of going sideways after making lower highs. It was just doing this sideways action, but recently it's just waterfalled down last couple of weeks. So it's correcting through price, and there's no guardrails for these prices. It's spiraling, and it's likely to go much lower. I showed you how, a bear market starts. This is a seventh consecutive day that it's traded below its 200 simple moving average. The Nasdaq today closed 5.3% below the 200. So it'd take a hell of a rally just to get back up to the 200. And it's 9.9% above this downtrending 50. You could see the 10, the 21, and the 50 are trending lower, which tells us, short term, this is in a pretty steep downtrend here, below the longer term moving average now, below the 200 for 7 consecutive sessions. This is how bear markets start. I'm not saying it's going to be a bear market, but it's 15% off the high. So, this is just how they start. And, I'm going to go here. Somebody pointed out that, this is similar to 2018, the December and November, where, it sliced. This is when, before COVID, when Powell started to raise interest rates and the tape had a temper tantrum and it really sold off hard, from, kind of similar here where it made a high and then a lower high and then sold off below the 200, rallied back up to it a couple of times, right? Rallied back up twice and then had this big whoosh to the downside. I don't know if this is really relevant to today's market. I mean, back then, I mean, interest rates were zero, and now they're much higher. I mean, it's just a different administration this time around, and it's different circumstances. So I just say take it one day at a time. There's no way that you should be heavily involved in this tape right here. Don't argue with the market. It's telling you it wants to go lower, and it's going lower. So, there might be one or two stocks you can trade here or there, but if you're going to have any type of profits at all, they're going to be taken quickly. You could just see by the new high list today is this is going to be a short video. There's not a lot of relative strength out there at all. And I just got to point out, ever since that, I don't see enough people talking about this. Ever since that January 27th, this is like a shot across the bow here this day where NVDA was down what 17% in one day. All the AI, the data center, the energy stocks got hammered. This is not normal, and it's just been lower and lower ever since. Yeah, it rallied back up above the 50, but these things have been crushed. Vistra, the energy company, was down 30% in a day. That's not normal, folks, where a company loses 30% of its value in, one trading session. That is not normal. All of these stocks are below the whack day of January 27th. To me, that's the day the AI trade died. And it's been proven out in these charts here. And you're going to hear folks say, and this drives me nuts, um, is this Constellation? You had that whack day. It was only down 21%, rallied back up. But look at this. This is way below the 200. It's just in a free fall here. So our only guide in the market is price. And what is the price telling you here? I mean, it's going lower. I mean, you're losing money if you're in this thing. And you're going to hear people say, oh, there's money on the sidelines, cash is coming in, or there's opportunities galore. I hear people saying, buy the dips. You're being complacent doing that. And most people who are buying now or who bought in 2025, they're underwater. Like 90% of the stocks are following the index lower. So just fair warning out there. I can't say it enough. I can't stress it enough to protect your capital. And you'll have more capital when the market turns, and it will turn. It's just you got to stay out of the way and let it do its thing. We saw some earnings reports this morning. I guess, I don't know. Before I get to the earnings report, I will go to the Dow because people are saying, oh, the Dow is holding up better. Okay, so let's go to let's go to I guess we'll go to 12. The last session in 2024. Yeah, the Dow's only off 3%, while the Nasdaq is off, Nasdaq is not doing quite as well. Yeah, it's off nearly 10%. And the SPY down over 5%. That's for me, it's pretty easy to outperform the market when it's doing that. You just, if you're cash, you're outperforming the market. You don't have to do anything, you outperform the market. Of course, we want to build our portfolios and make money, but this is just not the time. And anyway, this is below the 200 now for two consecutive sessions. So, yeah, it might be doing better than the Nasdaq, but it's no grand prize either. All right, like being the tallest midget, right? I shouldn't say that. That's insensitive. That's not PC. It's like being the tallest vertically challenged person. All right, vertically challenged or not, Dick Sporting Goods. Let's get to the earnings reports before I get in trouble. Um, my wife's going to watch this video and say, "You're being a jackass." All right. Dick's Sporting Goods reported today. Look at the selling and this thing. Guys, you just do not want to be reporting earnings in a tape like this. Um, yeah, let me see. After hours is at 200, but man, 254 down to 200. Today it traded a little bit below, a tick below 200, what, 195. Yeah, closed back up near the 200 level, but no growth, decelerating earnings, there's not a lot to get excited about. The guidance here on these things are not good. We're expecting a slower consumer. Q1 is typically a slow quarter anyway after Christmas, but they're expecting a slower consumer down the road in the second half of 2025. With the tariffs and everything, it's just really hard to assess the impact. So, the market's going to err on the side of caution. This is Kohl's. They're down 24% today. There was nothing good out of that earnings report. The guidance was horrific. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe Walmart or Costco are stealing some of their I don't know, market share, but yeah, just a bad day overall for earnings. I'm going to move on. It's a tough tape. I got to tell you, I'm looking for areas of strength now. When the miners, the gold, this is very defensive. It's very people go to gold, to fight inflation. When they're expecting inflation or recession, it's like a flight to safety. But this thing looks pretty good here above 100. I was going to put this one on the ready list this week, and I didn't, but I think I'm going to. I like it above 100. It's a psychological area. This one, it broke out of a base, ran up to 101.45, pulled back to the 21, found support. Now it's above its moving average. It's pretty hard to find a stock right here, 2.6 above it, 10, and 3.8% above its 21 right now. I mean, most of them are looking like, did I show Reddit? I should. I will later on. Yeah, bouncing off its 200. But that's what a lot of stocks are looking like, especially in the technology space. You got to stay away from tech right now. They're radioactive. This is Orla, a Canadian company. Lots of Canada in the news right now, unfortunately. Um, but it broke above that old 762 high, and now it's 6.8% above the 10 and 10.2% above the 21. So just kind of rare seeing stocks like this, in this tape. Definitely found support at the 21 for a long time, though, way back here. Um, and then at 650, just finding support at the 21 consistently. So don't chase it up here. Wait till it comes back to the 21. But just trying to show some relative strength, and it's very difficult to find in this tape. This is Wheaton Precious Metals, WPM, another Canadian company, showing strength. Yeah, this one's surfing its 10. It pulled back to its 21 one day here. But it's like a Kelly Slater surfing the 10. That's nice. On February 28th, that was like 10 days ago, like that Friday, which was, was Friday was a strong day that we thought it was going to cook and just fell apart since then. So wheat and precious metals doing well. RGLD, this is Royal Gold. Yeah, just this is another one that could be put on a ready list, but I just trying to keep it to a bare minimum this week because there's just too much pain. Even on the weekly, it's still down on the week slightly, call it flat, but it was up today and made a new high. So I just want to point that out. Then GFI, this is not a ground fault interrupter. This is Goldfield. It's an ADR from South Africa. Minor and broke out of a base here and now making new highs up nearly a 4%. So GFI looking pretty darn strong. And the last one I'm going to show because it's like a broken record here. This is kind of like the only area of strength making new highs today was the mining stocks, and this is up 8%. Closed 95% of its daily range. 8% move for DR Gold. All right, I'm going to move on to some of the European stocks. The DAX was finally down last night. I think it was like 1.5%, maybe a little less, 1.35% on the German index, but it has been really ripping. This is a Luxembourg stock making a new high. Did put this one on the ready list this week. It is breaking out of a pace, showing incredible strength in a really weak tape. This is a rare bird, an endangered species here. Probably the the top profit takers will come get this one pretty soon. But it's up nearly 3% this week. This is Millicom International Cellular. A couple other I don't know. European stocks doing okay. This is Novartis. Broke out of this base. That's what I mean. As soon as you have a little bit of profit, the profit takers come in, and this one closed a little bit below its 10. I'm interested in this one because the European stocks are seeing, money flow in to that index in that area. Uh, I think this is some of the area that I want to play in. I don't want to fight the tape. If the money's going there, that's where I want to be. And let me see. This is a nice little consolidation, a cup shaped pattern, cup with handle. You could see that um, pretty clearly there on the weekly chart. So I like Novartis. Another one that I do like. Let me see. Let me go to my trusty old sheet. Deutsche Bank. This is a financial stock that really ripping hard and finally pulled back to its 10. So you got to expect, especially in this tape, stocks will be pulling back to their 10. But like I said earlier, this one's 2.3% above its 10. Anything above the 10 in this tape is doing fantastic. I'm going to move on to China. China stocks doing well, especially the automakers. NIO had broke above this downtrending line here today. Had a really strong day, up 17%. I know it's a $5 stock, but I'm just acknowledging strength here. China stocks had it today. This is XPeng, XPEV is the ticker symbol, an auto manufacturer out of China, up nearly 15%. Posted these on in the morning a report for mcstockcharts.com, and they certainly followed through with decent days today. This one closed 57% of its daily range, not bad. And then FUTU, they report this week, the 13th. When is that? Thursday? I'm losing track with the time change and everything going on. They're going to report Thursday. So anyway, this looks like a nice cup with handle pattern with a nice shakeout. I wouldn't be surprised if they had a decent report and traded higher. I'm not going to say make a new high, but it wouldn't surprise me if it bounced and got above that 21 there. That would be my expectations. China has been really strong. They've been providing stimulus, and the European Union's been providing stimulus for their markets while we are not. So that's why money's kind of coming out. of our market or the US market and going into other markets. All right. One other China, not a car maker, but a kind of a part maker. This is a LiDAR company. They had a deal with Mercedes-Benz today, a 50% move. Thank you very much. A nice bounce off the 50 and a close, daily close, 98% of the daily range. That's a nice hammer candle. And that is a rare bird, an endangered species in this wildlife area that we're seeing here in our jungle of what is the stock market these days, which has been just horrid, horrific. Um, all right, I'm going to go to a couple other names here. We saw some short covering today. When you see stocks that have just 69 to I don't know what the low was yesterday. Help me out here, Mr. Market Surge, 35. So you go from what 60, 66.91 to 35. There's going to be some, profit taking if you're short. Just an inside day though. This is Robinhood. And a lot of the stocks that have been beaten down look like this uh, today. This is a MicroStrategy, which is pulled back to its 200. It's for a second or third time here, bounced a little bit today. This is Michael Saylor's company who suggested, selling your kidney to buy Bitcoin, which I would not recommend that. But kind of those are things that are said near, signs of a top when people are getting goofy like that. I did show you Reddit earlier, bouncing off the 200. There's technical trading here. It's still, to me, Reddit. I like Reddit. It's got, more than twice the subscribers that X has, and X was sold for 44 billion. But, still, this has about, less than 2 billion in sales, and it's got a 22 billion market cap. So, you're still looking at, more than 9 times sales here for Reddit and, like 8 times forward sales. So it's still an expensive stock, even though it's come down all this way down to the 200. This just looks like technical trading, short covering off the 200 and an inside day for Reddit. Yeah, it's just hard to get behind these things. App Lovin, another one, a former darling. I talked about this that 80% of former leaders fall 50% and 50% of former leaders fall 80%. This one's already down 51%. Even with the bounce today, it's down a lot this week. It's down this week, right? Yeah, it's down this week. Even though it was up 8% today, it's down 4% for the week. Just a brutal tape right now. So you just got to get out of the way of this stuff and don't even entertain. SMR, the nuclear stocks, which went nuclear, are now radioactive. That's New Scale Power. And then, of course, OKLO, which was a darling there for a while. And this is what happens to momentum plays or heat stocks. Yeah, they're great on the way up, but they're not so hot on the way down. So anyway, that's OKLO up 7%, 7.5% today. Just some short covering rally. You got to expect some short covering after the waterfall that we've seen. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you for watching. In honor of the great Steve Jobs, I do have one more thing. I just wanted to point out some of these other stocks from January 27th, like Arista Networks. Just that this is the because I don't see anybody talking about this. This is the shot across the bow that nobody's paying attention to, a 22% move lower. Yeah, it rallied back up for a little bit, but now look at it. And if you take a look at Arista Networks, which was, look at this long, long run here. And now it looks to me like it's in a stage 4 decline. And we saw this recently with some retail names like Elf, had this big run and now in a stage 4 decline. And Celsius, yeah, up a lot. And then the stage 4 decline. And you saw it with, and during the COVID time, Peloton, and it's been a dog for a long time. Some other names that have just, Abercrombie and Fitch, another one of these that were, recent winners that are just in stage 4 declines now. More recently, Deckers, another retail name that's just, yeah, this, and then ALAB, there's another one that had that it had that whack day. Look at how many weeks in a row this thing's been down. And to me, this is still an IPO going through due diligence phase. Yeah, made a high of 147, but look at this below the 200. And it was just one day, January 27th, when the deep seek came through and showed that, you don't have to spend all this money on data centers and energy and CapEx spending to have a decent AI component. And so these stocks are being sold. So all I can say is, there was a shot across the bow on the 27th. If you didn't heed that warning, well, then you lost money. And if you're holding on and hoping here, please don't do that. That's a recipe for disaster and a trip to the poorhouse. Vertiv Holdings, another one that, I don't know. You could probably call this a stage four by now. Yeah. This one nearly 50% off its high, even with the a little rally today of 6.5%. So yeah, just a little short covering. It's a lower volume, you know, below the 10. I would say if it rallies up to the 10 and gets rejected, it'd probably be a short there. As you can see, it's being consistently rejected here at its moving average right here, right here, right here, right here. Yeah. So lower prices. All right, one last thing. I just wanted to show Gorilla Technology. And I don't know if market surge is having problems. Okay. It was up 11% today. That's not the thing that I wanted to show you though. I just wanted to point out that this thing came out of the gate, pretty strong this morning, and it made a high here of 26.54 in the first like 10 minutes, right? And it sold off, some profit takers came in, and then on this bar, it made it above the 26.54. So that's when I put the trade on, right? If you're trying to day trade, which I would not hold this thing overnight. This is like a hot potato for me. I wouldn't hold it more than, sometimes 10, 15, 20 minutes because it moves so fast. And I don't want to hold it overnight because you're going to, wake up down 10% possibly. But I just wanted to point out, just a day trade that once it got above the 26.54, that first 10 minutes, it sold off. Profit takers came in. Then what do you know? The buyers came in and trade above 26.54. So that's your trigger. And then, you get lucky and it goes up a buck. And for me, a buck in this tape, I'm taking it. If you're playing options, that's 4 or 5% move. That's going to really help. If you're just buying the stock and making a buck, you got 1,000 shares, make $1,000. I mean, if you're not out hiking, biking, swimming, golfing, being active and doing things outdoors, and you're watching the screens trying to make a buck, that's just how I traded it. So anyway, that's kind of the tape that we're in right now. So I just do not trust this tape. It's guilty until proven innocent. I do not trust holding things overnight. There's only one stock that I do hold right now, TGTX. And I think this one sold off a little bit today, but yeah, it still looks fine. 37 after hours. I'll probably have to take some profits here. It's going to force me to do that. Yeah, down 2% this week, but it was up 28 something percent last week, right? Yeah. So, broke above that, downtrend line following its earnings report. You could see big move, 28% with volume. And you could see recently the big volume moves have been blue bars. So yeah, a little bit of selling, a little bit of selling, but the big bars are buying, up weeks. So this one still looks good to me. And there you could see on the daily chart, the break above the downtrending line there on that move following its earnings report. So anyway, that's it for me. I don't know what to tell you, man. Just stay active, stay engaged, keep watching the market, have a watch list. You got to be patient, wait for the market to turn because, like I say, if you try to jump in this thing, you're going to be underwater really quickly. It's very, very weak, very dangerous market. Thank you for watching at mcstockcharts.com. We never give up.